We're now learning that the French President Emmanuel Macron has ditched the EU summit only to return to the riot-hit France. Macron is to hold crisis talks as hundreds have been arrested in France. During the riots, at least 667 people have been arrested because of these riots, as clashes between the police and protesters in France continue for a third night. In Paris, shops have been ransacked and cars have been set on fire despite heavy police presence. 40,000 officers have been deployed across France. Let's quickly go across to Abhishek for more details. Abhishek, ever since the riots began afresh in France, the President was very quick in condemning these riots, especially the action taken by the police officer who shot that teenager, due to which these riots began. And yet there seems to be no peace or sign of any peace in France. Take us to what is the situation like on ground.
The situation right now is very chaotic in Pakistan. We have seen many major cities in Pakistan being engulfed in these riots and arsoning. Marseille, that is one of the major economic center of France, is also being hit by these riots, which is like almost 72 hours has been there. Police have tried to contain the protesters. They have tried to stop them, barricading especially lanes. But the people who are protesting the death of the teenager, they have been totally burning those vehicles and protesting in the streets, looting many shops. The visuals have been surfacing on social media where the protesters or the looters, they have also colluded, and there has been a very great and significant damage of public properties and properties of people and private properties as well. And amidst this chaotic situation, it was clearly not feasible for the French president to stay back in the talks, and he has left EU summit early on Friday to return to France, where now he will be taking stock of the situation and how to deal with it, because the law and order situation has totally gone off the track, and probably a leadership was required at the helm right now in Paris, where now Emmanuel Macron will be discussing with his senior cabinet colleagues and the administrators and the police officials how to deal with the rising protesters.
Right, and when we talk about the unrest in France, Abhishek, important to highlight the fact why, despite an investigation currently going on, why is there so much unrest in France?
So we have seen such protests happening in the past also, where apparently, people from especially from Islamic groups, they have always targeted French authorities that they are being treated discriminately, and there is no equal social footing that they are being accorded in France. We know that there has been a huge influx of migrant population from many Arab countries and Asian countries in France in the recent years, and there is a clear divide between the society that France has and the new breed of people who are witnessing and who are facing these migrant population every day.
Right.
There has been conflicts in the past also. But in the latest, wave of conflict, we have seen across country a huge riot has broken out, and the media, the visuals that we are witnessing on social media and various news channels across Pakistan are very disturbing. And seriously, probably that was one of the reasons why French president had to pull out from the NATO level talks in Brussels, and he is returning to Paris, where he'll be, taking stock of the whole situation.
Right. Protests are not new to France, because we've seen a lot of anger even during the pension reforms take place. But this seems to be a fresh wave of anger, and whether or not the president will be able to sort of quell that anger is something we'll have to wait and watch. Many thanks to Abhishek Jha for bringing those inputs. And with that, it's time to slip into a quick break. We'll be back with the latest on CNN News 18.